Brenden is a coordinator for Catholic Voices. Good to have you on the show, Brenden. The Pope is going to meet sex abuse survivors. Now, I know your group's aim is to improve the Church's representation in the media, but how much of a shadow has this cast on the visit?
This has become the cornerstone, the main talking point for this visit. I've been here with my wife for a couple of days as part of the World Meeting of Families, and I think that therefore this issue and the Church continuing to make this shift away from just being obsessed with the fact that there are lots of scandals and a maybe inward way of looking at this issue to what is it that the victims need. That Pope Francis recently wrote a letter to the whole people of God in which he called these crimes deplorable, where he talked about the filth within the Church. But for many, we're calling for more than just words and actions. And I think Ireland offers a unique opportunity to be able to show how the Church is putting its front foot forward, that the process of reform has begun, but not enough.
So you're, like you said, you're there for the families conference, obviously part of Catholic Voices. What would you like to see the Pope do or say in terms of addressing the victims and perhaps going further than just an apology?
There's a real cultural shift. An analogy I would use is to say that the Church is like a garden, that over time when we get complacent, that the weeds grow up. And so there's this pruning that's gone on, particularly in the Church in Ireland, but worldwide. Pope Francis talks about uprooting the culture of death. So having a mindset shift that goes away from preoccupation with self to that of the victims, listening to the voice of the victims is a hard one. I think the Pennsylvania grand jury shows us a good example of how we need to be more proactive, that we need to not be worried about our reputation. Our reputation is hurt. We need to listen to the hurt of the victims instead and to be proactive in what we do. So it's good that Pope Francis is meeting, but we need to see the kind of spiritual reform, structural reform in the way that bishops are dealt with and how people can complain, but also judicial reform. So the way that the Vatican operates when it comes to matters of child clerical abuse and safeguarding.
Like you said, Ireland offers a very unique opportunity for the Pope. The country's Taoiseach says the Church has had too much of a dominant place in Irish society, and he hopes that this visit marks a new chapter. What do you think of that? And is it something the Pope should address?
I think there is a difference between the way the last papal visit happened and this papal visit, but I think it would be unfair not to mention that there is a real sense of joy and anticipation that people are really looking forward to. The protest has been here, and it's good that there is protest and people show, because there is a need for a lot of healing. But my wife in here, and we're going to be joined by 500,000, 500,000 Catholics tomorrow, and there is a great sense of joy and anticipation. But it'll be interesting to see how the visit is received and what it does for the faith in Ireland. Often papal visits mark a kind of a reblossoming of the faith in the country in which it happened. So that's a kind of prayer and a hope, I think, not only for myself as a Catholic, but for the Pope.
Thank you for that. That's Brenden Thompson live from Dublin. 1 year ago, hundreds of thousands of Rohingyas